Okay. Now, can we have your name, sir?
Yep, I'm Giles Dyer.
And how old are you?
I'm 41.
41. First surfboard. What was your first surfboard? Can you remember?
Yep, it was a step-tail Wayne Parks.
Wayne Parks.
Yeah,
Yep.
about 5'2".
5'2". And how old were you when you started surfing?
About 11.
11. And whereabouts?
Drink Scully.
Drink Scully.
Yep.
So were you living in Dargaville over that way?
At the time I was, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And what made you start surfing, do you think?
I'd sort of grown up around it. The parents used to have a batch at Taputahi.
Yep.
But, you know, it always, as a small child, watched the surfers out there, and
Yeah,
something
yeah.
I'd always wanted to do.
Yeah. And what year was that, do you think? 70s, early 70s or something like that? Or what
Yeah, it
was
would have been late 70s.
Yep, yeah, yeah. Great stuff. So, did you belong to any clubs or anything like that, or just a sole surfer?
Yeah, just went out and did it, eh?
Yep, yep, yeah. Do you have wetsuit in winter in the early days, or what did you surf in?
You know, there was always wetsuits around when I was surfing. So, yeah.
So you
But,
had a good wetsuit.
Scungy, old, holdy things that have been passed down.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
first car, what did you go surfing in? Your first car that you owned yourself, what would that be?
Oh, don't get me started. You haven't got enough tape for my first car. My first car was this beautiful Ford Anglia.
Ford Anglia.
And a guy had done it up for Targa Rally.
Really?
Yeah. It was quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a hotted up motor in it, I take
Yeah, it was a 1600 Escort Crossflow with all big carbs and extractors and ported and polished and the whole bits pieces.
So that would really crank along, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it tore the car to pieces in the end, that motor.
Yeah.
Just all gave way everywhere, sway bars and struts and things attached, it all just disintegrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a neat car. It was loud and fast and just awesome.
Yeah, good young fella's play toy.
Primer grey with purple flames.
Sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
Best surfboard. What's your best surfboard? Have you ever had one you've sold, or it's the one you've got now, or it's the one you're going to... That one there?
That one there. It's the best surfboard I ever owned.
So what is it? It's a lipstick.
Lipstick kneeboard, but I'll ride it standing up.
Yeah, yeah. And where'd you pick that up?
I got it off a guy in Dargaville for $30, sort of washed up on the beach.
Washed up on the beach, so he'd found it, and that just suits your style and
just sort of, I love it on the East Coast.
Yeah. So where do you surf mostly? East Coast or all over?
On the East Coast.
Yeah.
Just anywhere from Oceans to Mauritius.
Yeah.
Just that zone there.
Yeah. So who did you surf with? Who do you surf with? By yourself, or do you go out and got mates?
Oh yes, I actually am by myself these days. They've all got old and fat and got kids and mortgages, and they just don't do it anymore. So it is pretty much by myself.
Yeah.
Some of the guys at work still surf, but you know, no, most of the time it's just I just rock out there on my own.
I was just laughing at a young fella walking through. Well, you had one of those days where the surf's been fantastic and just, this is heaven. Does any of those, you recall any of those days?
They come along every 5 years, don't they?
Yeah, so can you explain your last one that you've had? Where would that be? A standout wave when it's just been classic.
No, it'd still have to be going back, right back, and Tardale, that was just a perfect, just like a ruler edge, and it just went from the lookout out to the rocks, and the channel went out by the rocks. It was just so, it didn't speed up and slow down, it just started hitting it, and it just went.
Just peeled off
the whole way, you know, just the whole way.
Yeah.
And it hasn't really done it since the 80s.
A lot of guys say that Tardale was better if you, like in the 70s, 80s.
Yeah, it was just awesome.
Yeah. Good one. Good interview. Now, you got any funny stories, or what's the stupidest thing you've seen out there on the way surfing or surfing? You must have seen something that was a bit of a crack up to you. Can't recall anything?
Oh, the funniest one, okay, we went to Whananeki Bar.
Yes.
It was nice, you know, just nice solid 2 foot with the odd 3 footer. And it wasn't peak holiday time, but there was a Christian youth camp in town.
Yeah.
And we paddled out there, and it was pretty thick, you know, as it gets on the takeoff. So we all sort of were getting changed and coming out, not as a group, but one by one, and we were struggling to get a spot to get a wave or anything. Anyway, my mate paddled out, and he just dealt me out a bit of abuse, and you could see them all sort of perk up and freak out. And like you were saying before, with the circle of people around. And we sort of cottoned on to this. It was like, right, let's have them, right? So we was like, Go back to Takapuna, you fucking Auckland homo. What are you even doing here? You only come up here we don't see you out here at winter time.
Yeah.
And everyone picked up on it. There's about 6 of us doing it, and we'd be all sitting in this right on the premium takeoff, sitting there arguing with each other and just taking turns.
Yeah, yeah.
And it worked. It worked for about an hour and a half. It was just awesome.
That's a nice ride too.
And then they cottoned on eventually, and we couldn't keep it up, you know. They cottoned on that we were mates, but for a while there we had them. They were freaking out. Yeah, it just gave us the biggest wide berth. It was pretty nice.
Any shark sightings while you've been out surfing?
Shark sightings. I've been attacked twice at Pardale by a bronzy.
Yeah, attacked. Do you mean they've really had a go?
No, contact. Yeah.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Yeah. One of them was on the board.
True,
and the other one was just rammed me basically. Yeah.
Yeah, just run into you.
Yep.
Yeah.
What I found with the bronzies at Pardale, if they're under 6 foot, and they're, you know, if they're cruising through, but when they start doing that erratic thing, and it's like I didn't like it, and I tried it one day with a 6 footer, and I paddled straight at it, and it freaked and bolted.
It took off. Yeah.
Don't do it to 8 footers.
Yeah. So they had a go at you.
It had a full on go. It was like.
Bite your board?
No.
Yeah.
No, there's no damage. The other one, the second time it happened, I got a little scrape on there from something. Probably one tooth glance at the bottom of the board on the flat, but no big impressive bite marks. Can't prove it, eh?
Yeah.
And the best one ever was Aramoana.
Yeah.
And I looked straight into its cold black dead eye, mate, and I just fear pooed my pants.
Yeah. So that was probably
that was pointer.
White pointer.
It was a good sized white pointer, and it just did the cruise by and looked at me, eh?
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, dear God, it was horrible. So anyway, made my way in, and the wave in front of me had about 50 seals in it.
Oh, no.
It was just a foul feeling, and it ruined the whole rest of my South Island trip. Every bit of kelp was a pointer after that, eh? But
it's not a nice feeling, that, is it?
No, mate, you could have just eaten me.
So it would have been hunting the seals and just came across you?
It was just cruising by and chased me out. But because you never see them if they're going to go you. They'll just go you, and you won't even know till you're in pieces.
So have you surfed around a lot of New Zealand, I take it? Everywhere.
Never been overseas. I haven't got a passport, but I've surfed the whole of New Zealand top to bottom.
You've probably had as good as waves as anywhere you can find in the world doing that, let's face it.
Pretty much, eh?
Yeah. Been down Gisborne way and around there?
Yep.
Good waves?
Good waves there, good waves Taranaki. I've never really had Kaikoura good. I've been through there about 4 times and never had it on, but everywhere else I've had a good surf here.
Yeah. Oh, great stuff. Now, what's your favourite? Where do you go to when you're the nearest beach? Where do you go to most? You know, your favourite beach?
It depends what I'm doing, because at the moment I'm not surfing as much as I'm taking photos, and oceans are so good for it. It's the water clarity and the clearness of it, and it's just great for photos. But probably Pardale's my favourite, eh?
Yeah.
If I'm going to go for a surf.
Pardale. Yeah. Great spot. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's hard to beat, when that bar's working, and the beach break is pretty good too.
And the locals are quite nice, you know, and the end when you get to know them all.
Horror Bar, you've been up there?
Yep.
Yeah, that can be really...
That can be awesome, you know.
Yeah.
On any given day.
Yeah, there's not a lot of guys go down
Horror, where's that? Is that down Gisborne somewhere?
Yeah, no.
I don't know
we'll keep that to ourselves. Now, you've done quite a bit of videoing. If people want to watch that, where do they go to see it on YouTube?
Just jump on YouTube and look up Surf Northland. You'll find it's
Surf Northland.
POV Surf Northland. It's like point of view. I did a lot of stuff with GoPro cameras and bits and pieces.
Yeah. Now we've looked at your boards today, and you've got a huge collection of boards, and you've altered them a lot, and I think that's brilliant, because it's pushing the boundaries of surfing and doing stuff like that board there. There's not guys like you around trying things, surfing and be stuck in the dark ages, so I take my hat off to you for trying different things. And what makes you think, why do you do that? Just because you want to...
Oh, I did some boat building, so I'm familiar with the materials, and it got so stale too. Like surfboard design, there's so much more to surfing, and it's coming along now. People are going back to single fins and twins and twinses and all the bits and pieces, but it just got so 6.0 thruster.
Yeah. That sort of goes around in circles.
It does, doesn't it? And they're starting to look like they did in the mid-70s, you know?
Yeah.
So
great stuff. Now, I was going to ask you, how long do you think you'll carry on surfing? As long as you can?
As long as I can. I'll do it till I can't walk.
Yeah.
My shoulders are playing up at the moment, and like I said, I'm doing a lot of swimming and stuff rather than actually surfing.
Yeah. What do you think of the young guys today and all the aerial moves and that? you know, they're pretty impressive, aren't they? Where do you think they're going to just get more radical as the boards get lighter and, I don't know, trying new tricks? Where do you think that's going?
Oh, look, it'll only go so far,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
It'll go like, you know, like skateboarding can only go so far.
Yeah, yeah.
Or the BMXing only went so far until they started whipping with motorbikes and stuff. And, you know, it'll go till people's bodies start breaking to pieces.
Because basically the surfboard, I know that you could get an old board that's 50 years old and you can still have a lot of fun on it. So, you know, surfing, but there's so many different varieties of surfing now, isn't there?
The facets of it's awesome though, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, makes it so different and enjoyable, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you'd like to add, Giles?
No, all good.
I just appreciate your time and spending a few minutes telling about your surfboards and your surfing, so thank you very, very much.
Yep, so I'm going to give you my movie. If anybody wants to check that out, hopefully it'll be in there somewhere too.
Yep, we'll get Giles' movie on the website, and it'll be a pleasure to watch it, mate.
Sure.
All right, thank you very, very much.